The only way that we will make changes in the current system, the way it is for female leaders, for executives, for female business owners, for women in the world, is by us individually and collectively taking radical responsibility for the ways in which we show up, for the ways in which we speak about ourselves to ourselves, for the ways in which we act in the workplace and in our businesses and in the online spaces, for the ways in which we tell ourselves stories and narratives that do not serve us. We need to take responsibility for that. We cannot outsource our power anymore.
Hola, hola. It's your girl, Erica from America. Welcome to the Confidence Chronicles podcast. This podcast is all about helping you stand in who you are. Stop giving a fuck what people think about you. Start standing as your fully expressed self. As you are, queen, as is. There is no filter needed. You are fucking awesome. And I am here to remind you, I'm a confidence coach, a business mentor, a speaker, an author, and I am obsessed with women standing up, showing up, and creating their confidence. And I cannot wait to dig into today's episode with you.
Hello, gorgeous. Welcome to the podcast. I am so excited because last night I had the opportunity to speak to a room full of women in tech. So female leaders who are brilliant, like stupid intelligent, ridiculously intelligent, amazing, incredible women. And unfortunately, they were the only ones in the room that didn't believe that. If I was to say that to them in their face, they'd be like, no, not me. No this, no this, no that. And it got me thinking that so many of the women that listen to my podcast don't just have a business. They work a 9 to 5, or they're in corporate, or they're in high level leadership. And yes, a lot of my podcasts are about women in business, and I have programs that support women in business. But did you know that all of the speaking I do is usually for corporate spaces? I speak to so many women in leadership, and I want to pull my hair out sometimes because there are many barriers. Trust me, I know. I'm a Puerto Rican Latina who grew up in the hood, marginalized community, food stamps, foster kid. I was in the system. I mean, all the things you can imagine. If anyone understands, I get it, okay? I totally understand. Where I currently live, there's only 1% of Latinos in Australia. So even that, I am a minority here as well. But what pisses me off is not the patriarchy, the male dominated, the old white men in the office, the fact that they're cutting us off, this, that, and the other. Duh. Unfortunately, this is planet Earth. This is the way it is for us. And does it suck? Totally. But is us complaining or pointing the finger or not taking responsibility to change it going to do anything for us? No. Literally, my friend, I want you to hear me. The only way that we will make changes in the current system, the way it is for female leaders, for executives, for female business owners, for women in the world, is by us individually and collectively taking radical responsibility for the ways in which we show up, for the ways in which we speak about ourselves to ourselves, for the ways in which we act in the workplace and in our businesses and in the online spaces, for the ways in which we tell ourselves stories and narratives that do not serve us. We need to take responsibility for that. We cannot outsource our power anymore. We cannot point the finger outward. What does that saying say? When you point the finger out, there are 3 pointing back at you. It is true. Let's look in the mirror. Let's ask ourselves, where are we stopping ourselves? Where are we sabotaging? Where are we not being kind to ourselves? Where are we allowing people to treat us in certain ways? And that was part of my conversation that I had at this incredible event. I got to be one of the mentors at a round table for a women in tech event. And my table, every table had a theme, and you were meant to start a conversation. And so I wanted to facilitate a conversation around opportunity, around radical responsibility and the opportunities that are everywhere for all of us, depending on if we take them or not. And so one of the things that happened at my table was, I told a story that I usually tell in some of my keynotes, and I asked the women, where are there opportunities that you're not seeing? And a few of them kind of scratched their head and they were like, oh yeah, what do you mean opportunities? Do you mean this? Do you mean that? So it started these conversations up about how they're being treated in the workplace, how it really frustrates them when men cut them off, how it really upsets them when they feel like they're not seen and their values not taken, and nobody asks them about their opinions, or no one listens to them, or they feel like they're working and not getting credit for what they do. One lady was beautiful and she shared a story about how in her last workplace, she did everything. She did everything they wanted and still she somehow got made redundant. And she's like, I don't understand how it's my responsibility. So we broke it down. And I asked her, looking back now with these eyes that you have today, with the version of you that is here right now, can you go back to the crime scene? Can you go back like Sherlock Holmes and review who you were, how you acted when they asked you to do this? What was your response? Could you see yourself overworking? Can you see yourself under communicating? Can you see yourself not valuing yourself and saying yes to things where you truly and genuinely wanted to say no? Can you see yourself not having boundaries? I mean, is there anything that you can see? And she was just really struggling with it. And at the end of the night, she came up to me and said, you know what you said stuck with me and you're right. There were so many things that I allowed to pass by. There were so many things that I didn't speak up for. So many things that I said yes, but I should have said no. XYZ, all these things. It started landing. It took her a little while, but it landed finally. And I'm like, I don't care if anybody doesn't agree with me. Like, you could fight me on this. It is your responsibility. If you continue to point the finger out at the people, your organization, your boss, this person, that person. In one of the tables, they'd never heard of Byron Katie. And if you listen to my podcast, you already know I love Byron Katie and her work around the 4 questions, her book, Loving What Is, A Mind at Home with Itself. I literally got to interview Byron Katie. I got to quote her work in my first book, Confidence Feels Like Shit. Like, she is my guru. Like, she's changed my life and my client's life. And I used an example about how the thoughts that we think are not only thoughts, they actually create a narrative. So this story that you tell yourself about how you're not good. Let's use another example. A lot of women didn't speak English as their first language. So in Australia, a lot of Asian ladies, beautiful ladies, they speak Mandarin. That's their first language. I spoke to a lot of Indian women who were like, English is not my first language. Latinas, when I speak to Latinas that work in corporate spaces with my friend Ale from Gals, the Latinas have an accent. They feel all these things. So they have an idea that nobody understands them, that they sound stupid, that they sound uneducated, that they're not fast or smart enough to speak in English, and that they sound bad. And they have this whole narrative. So when they believe that story that they tell themselves, they basically dress up like that story and they walk around into the world with that story. So when somebody meets them in the workplace, they see that story. So they put the story on and they walk around in the outfit of, I'm not I'm not good at communicating. I don't have a good accent. I sound silly. I don't even know if you understand me. That's how they walk around. They put that on and they meet someone with that narrative. So the person then what? The person responds to that narrative. So if you think you're not good enough, I'm going to treat you like you're not good enough. That's how you're coming at me. You're coming at me with a lack of confidence. You're coming at me with self-esteem issues. You're coming at me with this second guessing and questioning your worth, as if I'm going to think that you're worth it and that you're amazing and that you're incredible and that you know your stuff. Of course not. And you get angry about that. And I'm like, my love, you have to take responsibility for the narrative and the story that you have told yourself, and you walk around wearing that belief. And you expect people not to treat you accordingly? What if you walked around confident? What if you walked around using the fact that you know 2 languages? By the way, hello, yo sé hablar español y inglés. Yo soy más inteligente que la gente que no sabe otro idioma. Girl, I'm smart. Basically, what I said was I'm smarter. I'm smarter than somebody that just speaks English because I can understand in 2 languages. And what does the Spanish saying say? I can ha and ja because it's JA, right? Like, I could do both. And so that doesn't make me not smart. That makes me so much smarter. It allows me to communicate actually better in multiple languages. And I might be a little bit slower in English. That's fine. I might have an accent. Gives me a bit of identity, a bit of something. Gives me a bit of flavor. How boring if you don't have an accent. What's the flavor? You have no flavor. So you're looking at it like, I'm bad, I'm wrong, I'm stupid, I sound dumb, nobody likes me, I'm shit, I'm this. You're looking at it with all the negative. That's your perspective. And then you're showing up in the world with all that crap on you, expecting someone to treat you like the opposite. What if you walked around with, I'm smart, I'm amazing, I know multiple things, my English is slow, but I hear you, I got you, I need a minute to translate in my own head. And what if you walked around with that permission that you gave yourself? I bet you money back guarantee that people would treat you differently. I bet you your confidence would skyrocket and you would not give a shit what anyone thinks about you. You would not allow someone else to belittle you. You would say, sorry, 1 second. I'm processing what you said in my language in my head. 1 second. Give me a minute. If you don't mind giving me 1 second. Boom. And then you say the word. Sorry, I was speaking and you interrupted me. If you don't mind, don't do that. I don't like when you interrupt me. It doesn't make me feel good. It actually is really threatening and it actually makes me feel XYZ. So can you not, please? Thank you so much. Actually, I was speaking. I'm not finished. No, 1 second, please. Let me finish my train of thought, and then I'm happy for you to jump in, Mark, right? Like, whatever. Why? Because I believe that I'm somebody that you should listen to. I believe that I have great ideas. I believe that I have good opinions. I believe that I can make a difference in this organization. That's why I applied for the job. That's why I care. That's why I'm here. That's why I work so hard. I also believe that I want to progress in the company and I can see my career moving up the ranks. And I would like to be the CEO. I would like to be the manager, the director, the partner. That's what I want. Some of these ladies have never told anyone, especially not their top line, what they want. And they're like, what? Like, what do you mean? You never told your boss what you want? How are they going to promote you? They don't even have an idea that you want to be promoted because you kept that to yourself. And then you act like you're not good enough. So they treat you like that. And then you get angry that they treat you the way that you believe you are. What? That's just like convoluted. And so my invitation to these women and to you listening is if you expect things to change, first, you must change. And I don't know about corporate spaces, but in business, people that run a business, we have to develop ourselves personally. Running a business is a whole personal development journey. Having children is a whole personal development journey. Now, you could do it unassisted, which I do not recommend, or you could actually go to therapy, get executive coaching, get support, do somatic therapy, do ERDM, I don't remember what it's called, but rapid eye movement therapy. You could do EFT tapping. You could do NLP. Like, you could do whatever you need to do. I love IFS therapy as a side note, but you need to be able to work on your own patterns, bad beliefs, untrue stories, narratives that have not served you, maladaptive behavior that you do because of your childhood, your past, your adolescence, your trauma. I wish corporate talked about trauma. There are people that are traumatized. I was traumatized. And we walk around from our experiences in our childhood and our adolescence, and it affects the way we show up as adults. You can't tell me that it doesn't. As a psychotherapist, as someone who's done over 10 years of therapy myself and invested hundreds and thousands of dollars into my own healing journey of foster care, abuse, being kidnapped, losing my husband, breaking my back, like all these horrible things happened to me. I would not be the joyful, optimistic, happy-go-lucky energizer bunny that I am today. 7-figure business owner, speaker, global, whatever I am. Like, I would not be what I am today if I didn't do my healing work. I would be projecting. I'd be in my victim space. I'd be pointing the finger and blaming everyone for my circumstances. And I would be a statistic. And I have every right. I have the horrible story for you. I'm in every right to be a victim. And I was victimized. But I don't have to live in victimhood. Victimhood is different from being a victim. It is, oh, you did this to me, poor me. Because of this, I can't do that. That's not true. And that is not empowering. When you step into being a creator, someone who can create what you desire, which you are, that is so much more empowering for your life. So my takeaway for this, number one, therapy, okay? Corporate people, please hire therapists, hire mindset coaches to come in and teach your people about their mindset, their beliefs, their stories, their identity work. The identity work is so important. I promise you, when you grow the people who grow the business, your business will make money, your organization will flourish, your people will be happy, and they will not leave. But that's a dream. We'll hope this happens one day. But what the women who are listening to this episode can take away right now is the way that you allow people to treat you is your responsibility. The way in which you show up in these spaces is your responsibility. The negative stories and narratives and beliefs that you carry about yourself are affecting the way others see you, are affecting your performance, are affecting what you put your hand up for. Whether you speak up or not, whether you show up with presence. Your butt in a chair does not mean you're there. That rhymed by mistake. But it does not mean that you're there. Just because your butt cheeks are in the chair, so what? How do I know you're in the room? I don't feel your energy. I don't feel your professional presence. I don't hear you. I don't see you. I don't even notice you. Some of us are putting ourselves into rooms and trying to blend into the wallpaper, so, like going into the chair, hoping no one looks at us, calls on us, and then wondering why we haven't progressed in the organization. What? Look in the mirror. That is the person you need to overcome. Confidence barriers that you have, identity and beliefs that have shaped who you think you are. And until you commit to working on that, we will constantly be pointing the finger to the patriarchy, to the male dominated, to the this, to the that. And we forget that when we point one, three are coming back to us. The day that you decide, which is the day that I decided to look in the mirror and go, whoa, I am the common denominator in my life. I am the common denominator, and my hot mess of a life was mine. My life was a mess, and it was me. And the minute I said I'm the one who can change it, everything shifted from there. If you want to learn more about this or you want to get more details, please hit me up. I'm on LinkedIn, Erica Kramer. You can email support at the Queen of Confidence. I would love, love, love to hit you up and support you with more confidence. Anything that I can do. I'm going to be doing more podcasts around this because the amount of women that I'm meeting and speaking to, and they won't put their hand up, they won't interrupt, they won't advocate for themselves, and then they want to complain. We don't get to do that. We don't get to complain and do nothing about it. It's now our responsibility to make the changes. And I firmly believe, I'm going to end with this. I firmly believe that we are the ones, as Gandhi said, be the change that you wish to see. Stop wishing someone else did it. You do it. Nobody is coming. Nobody's coming to help, change, shift, do anything. It's on us. The minute that we decide, that's when everything changes. And it's not going to be easy. Remember my first book, Confidence Feels Like Shit. The truth about confidence and what it really takes to create it. If you haven't read that book, go read it. What it takes, it's excruciating. Yeah, welcome. I signed up for it. This is what we want. You want to be the most confident person in the room? You want to go after what you want? You want to speak up? You want to be, yeah, that's me. You're going to go through it. It's very hard. But once you move through that, the internal belief that you have, the trust in yourself, no one can take that away from you. And that is what builds incredible careers. That's what inspires others to stand up. That's how you advocate for other women in the organization, by the way, because you are a walking example of what becomes possible when you respect yourself, when you back yourself, and when you get what you want and ask for what you want. I need some iced water right now, girl. Okay, I love you. I will see you next week on the podcast.